Well, you mentioned how you don't call it, it's not really astrology. I like that you call them
Mhm,
forecasts because I feel like
mhm.
it just feels right. You're like, what's the weather? Do I need my umbrella? What do I need to
Exactly.
prepare for? I think that's so great. Um, when we were talking, I was thinking it would be so cool to do like kind of like a I don't know if you would say like a global read or an annual read. So, with the
Mhm.
Eastern astrology, like they have the year and they pick the animals and whatever, and they're like, the year of the tiger is coming up, which I
Mhm.
heard is like the lowest birth rates in China because they're supposed to be the most difficult children to raise. And I just find that so
Interesting.
funny,
Yeah.
because I love how different parts of the world are like really into like the mysticism and the esoteric.
Mhm.
I just love eating all that up. And then when you come into the Western stuff, we don't really typically do that because we break it down by months, so there's not like an overarching like this is the year for everybody. So I was curious with numerology. We were talking about going through global cycles. Can you
Mhm.
give us a little insight into 2022 and what that's going to look like? Is it going to be
Yeah.
um, a little bit better than the last year? Can you give us something to look forward to? I don't know. When does this cycle wrap up?
So I can't, unfortunately, I can't say when the whole COVID shit ends. It feels like it's ending, and I actually have a lot of hope for that because people are scared about the new variant or whatever. But like, I don't think that I think we're overreacting, and I think that maybe it'll go away soon. I might eat my words. I really hope not, but I'm confident that we can start building normal lives in 2022. But that's just my intuition. That's not based on numerology.
Hmm.
In terms of numerology, it's a 6 year for the planet, and 6 years are hard to read because they'll reflect. They can a six vibration can act in different ways depending on like the other numbers that are on top of it, whether it's in a person's chart or in the planet's chart. This is a 6 year and a 9 cycle for the planet. Um, for reference to everybody, the last 6 year we had was 2013. And when I try to figure out what the next year is going to be for the planet, because planet numerology is a little different from individual numerology, I try to just look back at other years with that vibration.
Hmm.
And when you said we were going to be talking about this today, I looked at 2013 a lot. What I see in 2013 is a lot of seeds. It wasn't a difficult year for the planet. There wasn't a lot of like conflict or or big global events. I mean, those happen all the time, but like it didn't feel like a chaotic year. And what you do see is like a lot of the storylines that later became really big for the planet. You can see the seeds in 2013. You can see how they began,
Hmm.
how like just stuff starts aligning in that direction. If you want to look at politics, you'll see events in 2013 that will give you like a preview of coming attractions. If you're talking about technology, you see events in 2013 that talk about a preview of coming attractions. 2013 was a big bull run for Bitcoin, like really the second one and the one that like first got people's attention. So that's
Ooh.
an example of a preview of coming attractions.
Yep.
Um, if you look at just pop culture and like if you follow a celebrity that is really big right now, look at what was going on in 2013. You'll see a seed. So I think like without going into like too many examples, that's kind of like the theme. So I think that there's like whether it's in technology or in the arts or really also maybe politics and geopolitics, you'll see stuff that hasn't been happening or like has no connection to last year or the year before. That's a surprise, but maybe doesn't like look chaotic or feel chaotic. It's just like, oh, this is a new character. Let's see like what what happens with this, or like, oh, like this is a new like a new shift for a company like Meta for Facebook, or like the Twitter CEO stepping down. Like there's just like unexpected developments in whatever field that are bigger than they seem because right now they might seem too early,
Hmm.
but are going to be very big over the second half of the cycle, 7 year, 8 year, 9 year, and are going to play a big role in wherever we end as a planet at the end of this 9 year cycle, which is 2023. So like I think that's interesting in terms of like what the sixth vibration means literally. The sixth vibration is the balance between helping yourself and helping others and doing both correctly.
Mm.
People who are unbalanced in the sixth vibration either are always putting other people's needs before their own and like giving and never taking care of themselves, or are on the selfish side of the spectrum where like it's all about me, and not others.
Mm.
When either of those people enter a sixth vibration, the universe will help them come back to the middle through obstacles and events. So if we're talking about all of humanity and wherever we stand, or where any specific country stands, whatever events you see will relate to that theme of like, okay, there's something's happening, and like other people need our help. Are we going to do it? Are we going to think about us first? And like when we talk about wisdom, everybody says like, oh, like you got to be selfless and everything, but like there is the other side of it. Like there's individualism versus community, and both are important.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really just focus on one before the other,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a whole point of the sixth vibration. It's like where's the middle ground where you're taking care of both,
Mm-hmm.
like of a country taking care of itself and helping, a city taking care of itself and helping, a company taking care of itself and helping, individuals taking care of themselves and helping. So whatever events take place, and it's really hard for me to tell because in a 9 global cycle, like all bets are off, really.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like that's one thing that's going to be different from 2013. I don't think that we'll see the fear
Mm-hmm.
of the last 2 years, even if there are surprises.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
No, that does. And that's I'm sure that's a relief to a lot of people because that's one of if you believe in vibrations and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
fear is one of the lowest ones, right? It's bad for your immune system, it's bad for your health. It really
Yeah.
is one of those things that in like short sporadic doses it can provide insight and help, right? Like it can get you out of a dangerous situation or prevent those things, but if you live there
Mm-hmm.
for too long it's going to be nothing but a disaster for you. So it's like, how do
Yeah.
you pull yourself out of that? And I think it goes back into the community too, which is like not focusing so much on everything to where you're blind, like your peripheral vision is gone. And then you can do that by helping other people, right? So not focusing so much on you and how everything's going wrong for you, but maybe helping someone
Mm-hmm.
else. But I think that's important too, like that balance. I think with a lot of like the sages on the stages, as they say, or like the modern day gurus, and they're like, you have to be like this completely altruistic person and completely
Mm-hmm.
selfless. That's not really the full story because it's that age old saying, which is to fill your own cup first. And if your cup's
Yeah.
empty, you can't provide anything for anyone else.
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents would know that, right? It's like you're the
Mm-hmm.
best parent when you do get breaks and you do get to recharge and reconnect with your spouse and those kinds of things. If you're constantly burnt out, then that's the version you're giving your child, and that's no good. So you can just scope that out and do that for your family, your friends, your coworkers, whatever, right? So fill your cup, but also help other people.
100%.
Mm.
100%. And I mean, yeah. I think I don't know. Like it's probably more complicated than this, but there's a like there is a there is an avenue to being to like giving and being generous
Mm-hmm.
that goes through like I don't want to say put your needs first because you can't do that all the time, but like through like making your own happiness a priority.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes your happiness involves like it makes me happy to be there for another person,
Mm-hmm.
and you hope that everybody has that in them where like some of what your dreams are about impacting other people's lives, not
Mm-hmm.
just like your house or like your whatever you want for your own personal abundance. But I think that like they like even though they feel like two separate ends of the spectrum, you can put them in the same line where one becomes before the other, and they're
Mm-hmm.
not really separate.
Mm-hmm.
You can accomplish both through the same kind of mindset. But
Yeah, they're not necessarily in
yeah,
conflict with one another. And I think we just
exactly.
haven't been taught that. We we are taught to have a scarcity mindset, which is that if I'm giving something to you, then I'm taking something away from me. And if I'm giving something to me,
Mhm.
then I'm taking something from you, instead of looking
Mhm.
at it from like an infinite game space, which is there's always more pies to be made, right?
Yeah,
We don't have to fight over the crumbs anymore. We can just make a new pie. And I think that's what you
100%.
see with like, you know, exponential technology, and Peter Diamandis is in this space a lot, which he talks about, and he kind of ties it in to capitalism a little bit. So he's like, you know, there's all of these models and everyone has their theories, and obviously we want to be giving back to people that need it, but like we're coming at it from the wrong angle, because we're just all like scrounging for the same resources instead of creating new resources. And it's just having that theme throughout your life, right? Do you have an abundant mindset, or do you have a scarcity set mindset? And you
Mhm.
get to decide that, right? And then you'll see those things start to align as you start living that, and or like walking that walk. You know what I mean?
100%.